I hope you had a wonderful weekend, a great Father's Day yesterday, and a great Juneteenth. What is that? This was the CNN headline this weekend. Black Americans under assault. We talked about Juneteenth last week. We gave the whole story. It's a nice story, very nice story. And my conclusion was Juneteenth is a good thing, but it depends how it's taught and how it's framed. If Juneteenth, marking the end of slavery in America, if it is taught as the ultimate fulfillment of the promise of the Declaration of Independence, and if it's taught as this momentous, world-altering achievement of Western civilization, the first civilization to recognize and end the evils of slavery, and that was an evil part of the past of human existence, and we have a triumphant finale, then fantastic, right? If Juneteenth is framed that for thousands of years since the beginning of mankind, people of every race and color were enslaved and enslaved others, and that no one until the 18th century thought, you know what, maybe this isn't such a great thing that we're doing. And it was only in Western civilization, as Thomas Sowell said, you could research all of the 18th century, Africa or Asia or the Middle East, without finding any comparable rejection of slavery there as we had in the Western world. So if we're gonna celebrate Juneteenth as the final fulfillment of American ideals, awesome. I am so all in on that. If it's taught as, you know, slavery still exists today, and black Americans are under assault, like CNN framed it, and you know, that assault looks a lot like capitalism, and we need a $15 an hour minimum wage and justice for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, then no. We don't need a federally certified grievance holiday in this country. If Juneteenth is, Black Lives Matter. If Juneteenth is black pride, black power, fist in the air, white people are racist, America's a racist country, here's all the reasons why, then no, that is a bad thing. And really would be the first holiday based on division. And it looks like that's how it's being framed by the left. It is not being framed as a day of unity, which it very well could and should be. As James Lindsay said, people are saying that Juneteenth is not a celebration of progress. It's a demand for progress to come, as if we haven't made any. This is an activist's holiday. It's not a good thing. Our local paper here in San Diego wrote all about Juneteenth, and this is the picture they chose. And I saw this picture, right on the front page and everything. I saw this picture, I was like, well, what? Why are we flying these colors, right? What's up with the Pan-African flag? It's not even a real flag of a real thing. It's like a made-up flag for a continent. Why are we flying green, black, and red flags and not red, white, and blue flags? That's your first clue that this is being used for division, not to mention the George Floyd signs in the background. If we can't unite around this moment in our history, the end of slavery, right, then clearly these activists don't want us to unite around anything. How can literally the end of slavery, the most important unifying moment in history, be framed as a point of division? All right, I'll give you another example of this division. There's a headline, for Juneteenth, America needs a new flag that all of us can honor. A new flag. Ooh. I didn't know we were accepting submissions for I didn't know we were looking for a new flag. I didn't know that was. So Macy Gray, the singer from the 90s, wrote this article. I don't know where she's been, or I don't know the background to this at all. But she says we need a new flag because of what happened on January 6th, the siege, the coup in America at the Capitol. And people were carrying American flags. So she says the American flag is the same thing as the Confederate flag. She has this quote, the American flag's been hijacked as code for a specific belief, right? If you want to replace something, first you got to tear it down. Right? God bless those believers, they can have it. Like the Confederate flag, it's tattered, dated, divisive, incorrect. It no longer represents America, no longer represents democracy and freedom. It no longer represents all of us. It's not fair to be forced to honor it. It's time for a new flag. And here she is. This is what Macy Gray came up with. The white stripes are not white. They're off-white. They're gray because America is not pure. And then the white stars are, there's 52 of them for Puerto Rico and something else, DC maybe. And they're not white, they're black and brown and pink. So there you go, that's the new flag. I'm not gonna do a whole thing on this, we've talked about this before, but just the very short of it. This is another example of flipping culture as opposed to flattening it, right? So Martin Luther King Jr., the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., he wanted to flatten culture and the inequities, right? We want to judge each other, like no more discrimination. We want to judge each other by the content of our character. We want to flatten our culture, make everyone more equal. That's not what the left wants to do today. It's not what the woke left wants to do. Ibram X. Kendi says the solution to past discrimination is current discrimination. The solution to current discrimination is future discrimination. He doesn't want to get rid of discrimination. He just wants different discrimination. That's not flattening inequities. That's flipping them. Do you see the difference? And this is what Antonio Gramsci said we need to do. Not flatten, but flip. Use those words. We talked all about this last week. The Marxist left, the woke left, social justice, the whole thing, they're about tearing everything down and then flipping it. So it's about personal responsibility. And from that, there's a unity because we're all in this same mission to make a life. And when we're all in that same mission to make a life, then we can also make a country. So I love the idea of Juneteenth. I think it's great. And conservatives shouldn't be against it. We need to embrace Juneteenth. But we need to make sure that it's not a black holiday, but truly an American holiday.
Wow, that was deep and insightful. I want more of that.
Like, subscribe, get more.